The story begins in 1963, a tense time after World War II. Germany is divided into two parts, one controlled by the West and the other by the Soviet Union. Napoleon, a skilled CIA agent, secretly crosses into the Soviet side of Germany. There, he meets a young woman named Gabby. He tells her something shocking: her father is still alive. Gabby is completely stunned.
Okay, Mr. Important Suit. Who are you and what do you want?
I'm here to have a friendly chat about your father.
I don't have a father.
She has not seen him for 18 years. At first, she thinks Napoleon is lying and demands to know how he knows anything about him. Napoleon explains that her father was a brilliant scientist who once worked for the Nazis. After the war, he was forced to work for other powers. Then one day, he disappeared and was believed to be dead. But now, reports say he is alive in Paris, and someone is forcing him to build a dangerous weapon. Napoleon tells Gabby they need her help to save him. He warns her that if she refuses, her father could be killed. He also says there is no time to hesitate, because the Russians could arrive at any moment. To prove he is serious, he tells her to look outside.
So, I'm here to help him. Why don't you help me?
With what?
If I had 15 minutes, we'd drink tea, eat biscuits, I'd talk, you'd laugh, and we'd be on our way.
Gabby looks outside. She sees a man walking toward the building, and the sight of him frightens her. Napoleon tells her to follow his lead, and they jump into the car and speed away. Within moments, another car is right behind them. The person chasing them opens fire, but Napoleon's car is bulletproof, so they make it out without a scratch. Napoleon tells Gabby to stay calm and do exactly what he says. The chase gets more and more intense as the other car keeps closing in. Eventually, the attacking car crashes, but the man inside survives. His name is Illya. He's a KGB agent, and his job is to capture Napoleon. The story then takes a step back to show us a little of Napoleon's past. During the war, he served in the American army, but once the war was over, he drifted into a life of crime, selling stolen goods on the black market. He had a real gift for it, and before long he was pulling off major heists. As good as he was, though, he eventually got caught, and authorities from more than one country came after him. But instead of locking him away, they realized his skills were too valuable to waste behind bars. So they gave him a choice: work for the CIA or face the consequences. He chose the CIA, and that's how he ended up where he is now. Back in the present, Napoleon and Gabby are still trying to get away. After driving for a while, Napoleon realizes that Illya is still on their tail. He thinks fast, comes up with a plan, and tells Gabby to keep driving no matter what. She's getting really nervous and asks if they're about to get caught. Napoleon tells her to trust him. Then their car gets boxed in and the tension goes through the roof. Gabby is sure they're done for, but Napoleon calmly rolls down the window and tells her to follow him. He walks her straight into a nearby building and through it, heading for the other side. On the other side, CIA agents are already in position. From up above, they open fire to create a distraction, giving Napoleon and Gabby the window they need to reach safety. In the chaos, Illya gets attacked and ends up dangling from above. The next morning, both agents are called to a weapons facility. When Napoleon walks in, he finds Illya already there, and the two of them immediately start arguing and throwing punches because honestly, they can't stand each other. They keep going at it until a KGB officer steps in and puts a stop to it. Then they're both given the full picture. Gabby's father, the missing German scientist, has recently been spotted in Italy. It's believed he's being forced to develop a nuclear weapon. The formula he's working with is incredibly dangerous, the kind of thing that could be used to build powerful bombs. He's being held by a criminal organization run by a man named Alexander, along with his very ambitious wife, Victoria Vinciguerra, who is actually the one calling the shots. Both the CIA and the KGB agree on one thing: that formula cannot fall into the wrong hands, because if it does, it could mean the end of the world. So as much as they hate it, Napoleon and Illya are ordered to work together.
Your mission is to infiltrate this organization and to retrieve Dr. Taylor and his research. It will be located in a computer disk. And whoever has that disk will simply be the most powerful nation in the world.
The plan is this: Illya and Gabby will pretend to be an engaged couple so they can get close to her father. Napoleon, meanwhile, will get close to Victoria and her husband by posing as an art dealer. Once the briefing is over and the officers leave the room, Napoleon and Illya go right back to trading insults. It's clear these two don't trust each other at all.
Obviously, I was briefed about you, your corrupt and criminal background.
I do wonder if it was your father's shame that gave you such drive, though.
Later, Napoleon walks Gabby through the plan and tells her she'll need to pretend to be Ilya's fiancée. She's not happy about it, not at all. But Napoleon lays out just how much is at stake, and eventually she agrees. Not long after, they're on their way to Italy. Napoleon and Illya bicker the whole trip, of course. When they arrive, They get the feeling they're being watched as Illya and Gabby step out. Napoleon quietly pulls Illya aside and warns him someone may be following them, and if anyone approaches, he should just cooperate and not try to play the hero.
Being followed.
I know. 2 men from hotel lobby, mid-30s, one in brown suit, other in leather jacket, which is why you should leave.
They diverted when you turned down the steps, so I imagine they'll be waiting ahead for you.
Illya ignores the advice and walks off. Sure enough, a few minutes later, some men corner him with a knife and demand his things. They want his watch, and they take Gabby's engagement ring too. Gabby hands the ring over without a fight, but Illya refuses to give up the watch. They start insulting him.
Give me the watch! Give him the watch!
Gabby whispers for him to stay calm. He grits his teeth and hands it over, but then things get heated and Illya slaps one of them. The other one pulls out a gun, and that's where it stops. The robbers walk away. Napoleon strolls up shortly after and gives Illya a very sarcastic look. Illya, clearly gutted, tells him the watch belonged to his father. Then he walks off on his own. They soon arrive at their destination. Napoleon settles into his room and gets to work, chatting up the staff, carefully steering conversations, quietly picking up information. Gabby, meanwhile, keeps poking at Illya, teasing him and getting under his skin. After a few too many drinks, she becomes really unpredictable, starts picking a fight with him, and things get heated. In the middle of it all, she almost kisses him, then just falls asleep. The next morning, Napoleon wakes up after spending the night with a waitress. While looking around his room, he finds hidden recording devices. Someone has been listening in on him. He takes the evidence straight to Illya and tells him the recordings are in Russian, which points to the KGB. Illya figures out his room has been bugged too. And then it comes out that they had both secretly bugged each other's rooms. Classic. But there's no time to laugh about it. They have a party to get to. Hosted by the enemy at the party, Napoleon gets stopped at the door because he doesn't have his invitation ready. One of the guards slaps him, and he stumbles back. Right at that moment, Victoria Vinciguerra appears. Napoleon quickly pulls out the invitation, and the whole thing gets smoothed over inside. Illya and Gabby run into Gabby's uncle. Illya doesn't like him from the start, especially because the man keeps taking little digs at the Russians. Napoleon, on the other hand, zeroes in on Victoria. To impress her, he pulls a slick little trick. He lifts a bracelet right off her wrist and then hands it back, making it look like a charming bit of magic. Then he reels her in further by sharing stories from his past, presenting himself as a sophisticated art collector rather than the thief he actually is. Thief gaps in important collections. Victoria is hooked. She starts opening up to him. Shortly after, she introduces him to some of her associates. Then her husband rolls in dramatically in his racing car. Meanwhile, Gabby corners her uncle and pushes him about her father, but he plays dumb and claims he knows nothing. By the end of the night, Victoria invites Napoleon to her office the next morning. She's clearly taken with him later. Back at the hotel, Illya shows Napoleon some photographs. He explains that they link Victoria directly to radioactive material, meaning she's been near a nuclear device very recently. Confirmed exposure to gamma radiation. These blurred lines here, radioactive material in the last 24 hours.
Which means they've succeeded in enriching the uranium. We need to move quicker.
With that, Napoleon heads toward Victoria's location to dig deeper. He spots Illya nearby as he's about to go in. The two of them quietly signal to each other and slip inside together.
Coming?
They search the place carefully but don't find anything at first.
I didn't find anything.
Then Illya spots something. One of the guards is wearing his stolen watch. He knocks the man out, but when he checks, it turns out the watch isn't actually his. They keep searching and eventually discover a hidden button that opens up a secret passage. They go down into an underground area and find a large vault. Napoleon starts working on getting it open, while Illya keeps warning him that it could be a trap. The moment the vault swings open, an alarm blares. Guards come rushing in from all directions and the two agents have to get out fast. They check inside the vault but don't find anything useful as they flee. Bullets are flying everywhere.
I am not staying here!
Where are you gonna go?
Illya jumps first and yells for Napoleon to follow. Napoleon grabs a piece of wood and leaps after him. They hijack a speedboat and take off across the water, still being shot at. In all the chaos, Napoleon goes overboard, but Illya doesn't notice and keeps going. Napoleon drags himself to shore and climbs into a passing truck inside. He finds food and wine, and he just helps himself, completely relaxed, as if none of this is unusual. From where he's sitting, he can see Illya in the distance, still desperately trying to dodge gunfire. Eventually, Ilya's boat gets blown apart, and he's left treading water. That's when Napoleon finally decides it's time to help him. Back at the criminal base, Alexander finds out the vault was broken into. He panics and calls Victoria immediately. Victoria gets suspicious of Napoleon and tries to reach him. No answer. She grabs her men and heads straight to the hotel. By the time she arrives, both Napoleon and Illya are back in their rooms, acting completely normal. Victoria takes the room keys from the front desk and walks up to Napoleon's room. She opens the door and there he is, stepping out of the bathroom like nothing happened. Seeing how relaxed he is, she sends her men away and closes the door behind her. Over in Ilya's room, Gabby tells him that her uncle has called her to meet again, this time much more openly. Illya notices that her transmitter isn't working right and starts fixing it. It's hidden near her thighs, and as he works on it, the two of them end up closer than they expected. There's a quiet, unspoken moment between them. Then Napoleon walks in and reminds them it's time to get moving. Uncle Rudy's car has arrived.
Uncle Rudy's car has arrived.
Are you ready? Gabby heads out. Illya, who's clearly starting to feel something for her, quietly follows along. When Gabby sits down with her uncle, she goes right at him. She tells him she knows her father is alive. Her uncle slips up during the conversation and lets something suspicious out, and Illya catches it through the transmitter. At the same time, Napoleon arrives at Victoria's office. She walks toward him in a slow, deliberate way, then calls him by his real name. Napoleon's whole body stiffens. He knows something is very wrong. He suspects his drink has been tampered with, and then it all comes out. Gabby had been running her own play the whole time. She fed information about Napoleon and Illya to her uncle, who passed it straight to Victoria. All she wanted was to get to her father herself. But because of it, Napoleon is now walking into a trap. You'll leave my father to me, put something in my drink. It's much easier to trust Mr. Solo couldn't control the loyalty of young Gabby. He's taken to another location and tortured with electric shocks. Meanwhile, Gabby makes her way toward where her father is being held. On the other side, Illya gets there just in time. Gabby's uncle is about to kill Napoleon, and he stops it. They tie the uncle to the electric chair and start pressing him for answers. Under pressure, he breaks. He tells them that the bomb is finished and is about to be moved to an island. Napoleon and Illya take this in, then start arguing about whether to let the uncle live or take him out. The argument gets cut short when the electric device shorts out and the uncle dies. They don't dwell on it. They need a helicopter to reach the island, and they need one now back on the island. Gabby finds her father at last. It's an emotional reunion. He pulls her close and apologizes for everything she's been through. Napoleon and Illya arrive at the helicopter site, and that's when Alexander Waverly, the assistant chief of operations, appears alongside Adrian Sanders, the chief of operations. Waverly lays everything out. This whole mission has been part of a long-running undercover operation involving British intelligence, the CIA and the KGB, all working together toward the same goal of shutting down a Nazi-connected threat. British naval intelligence for the remainder of the city you retrieve, Dr. Teller. He also reveals something surprising. Gabby has been secretly working with them all along as part of this bigger plan. The deception was intentional. Waverly says he knew Napoleon and Illya were tough enough to handle it and get the job done. Now he tells them, the only thing that matters is stopping that nuclear bomb and making sure Gabby gets out safe, because right now she's in serious danger. On the ship, Gabby is desperately begging her father to disable the bomb, telling him it could wipe out the world if it goes off. Then Victoria shows up and takes charge of everything. She points a gun at Gabby and tells her father he has 1 hour to keep working, or his daughter dies. Napoleon and Illya get their equipment sorted and set themselves up for the final push. Inside, Gabby's father reveals that the bomb formula is split across 2 separate discs. He hands them over and is immediately shot. Victoria grabs the discs and runs. Everything erupts into chaos. The threat of the nuclear weapon is now closer than ever. Napoleon spots Alexander loading the bomb and gets on the radio. Illya, come in. Alexander has Gabby and the bomb. They're at the entrance. Napoleon takes off after him in a car, while Illya cuts in from another direction. The target tries to break free, and a long, drawn-out chase tears through the streets. Illya pulls up and opens fire, but he gets counterattacked. His bike goes down and lands on top of him. Napoleon pulls up, calls out to Gabby to hold on, and slams his car straight into the enemy vehicle. Both cars flip over. Napoleon gets himself together, hauls Gabby out of the wreck, and stands his ground. The enemy comes at Napoleon and is about to shoot him. Then Illya appears and takes the man out. The 2 agents catch their breath and quickly compare notes. They realize the actual bomb has already left on a ship. They try to figure out which ship Victoria is on, but it turns out nearly 100 ships have already departed. It feels impossible. Then Napoleon remembers something. He saw a photograph of the ship in Victoria's office. He manages to pull the name from his memory. They try to get the ship's captain to confirm Victoria is on board. The captain denies it. Napoleon thinks for a second, then gets on the radio and plays his card. So, I'll give you this message directly. I killed your husband. Here's how. Begging, and I made it slow, and I made it painful. Hearing that, Victoria completely loses her composure. She fires back, furious, promising he's going to pay. And in that moment, Napoleon tells her calmly that he's already locked onto her location and that a missile is in the air heading straight for the ship. He gives her a few seconds. The nuclear device will survive, she won't moments. Later, the missile hits, the entire ship is destroyed, along with Victoria and everything she built. With the threat now gone, the agents return to the hotel and begin packing to leave. Then, Illya receives a call from his superior. The message is cold and clear. One part of the nuclear formula is missing, and they believe Napoleon has it. Illya is ordered to eliminate Napoleon and bring the formula back. They do not want it falling into American hands. Illya is conflicted. He goes to Napoleon's room while Napoleon is packing. The tension is immediate. Napoleon senses it and quietly prepares himself. Illya reaches for his weapon, but then Napoleon throws something across the room. It is his father's watch, recovered. Illya catches it, and for a moment, everything stops. They look at each other. Neither of them shoots. Instead, they walk outside together and burn the remaining formula right there, making sure it can never be used again. Alexander Waverly appears one last time. He tells them their actions mattered. By destroying the formula, they prevented a future war. Then he reveals new orders. Both the CIA and the KGB have agreed that Napoleon and Illya will now work together on a joint mission. A new partnership, a new organization. No one expected that, and that is where the story ends. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and see you in the next video.